My breath for a sec. That is fun. Wow. Pretty seamless gearbox too. I gotta say, there was no even hunting needed for those gears. They were ready to go. Nice, very nice. You guys, this is really happening. We just got the green light to get in the cars here, and they are running. We have a 140-mile drive route that we're taking, and a couple different options for coming back as far as photo ops and stuff like that. Looks like the cars are pre-assigned, so we're gonna find the one with my name on it and Chris's name, and then we'll get going. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning car. All right, where's my name? I asked if I could share today with Chris. So Chris Tobias from Acura Connected and I are gonna be jointly driving, so that way we can kind of both get some exposure to it and help each other with some video footage. So let's see what we can find. There's Drew and Mason. We must be in a white one. So, boom. There's our hot rod for the day. You can already hear somebody having fun with the exhaust note over there. All right, before we get a move on, this is our drive route, outbound and return. Printed instructions. Sometimes those are tough to do on the fly. We'll just kind of roll with it. Such a cool wide body treatment here. '24 Integra Type S. Wow, have we waited for this day? All right. Oh, gotta have a clutch in. It's like I've never driven a manual before. Okay. Wow, this is cool. I read up a little bit prior about some of the Type S specific stuff, like the perforated leather wheel. This feature right here coincides with the interior color. It's a Type S exclusive thing, not to mention the little shift plate here around the knob. And shoot, I'm just ready to get going. Break it off. Take a couple swings at this. Wow, this gives me TLX Type S vibes. The hood has these very prominent bulges on it, but instead of just one on either side, there's a cool like crease going right down the center of the hood, and then two other bulges on either side. We are Apple CarPlay synced up, and we're gonna hit the road. And we're lost time because the group is ahead of us. Oh man, and that wasn't even Sport Plus. I think we're gonna have some fun with this thing. So 2.3 miles right on Baldwin Road. Holy smokes, it's a completely different car than the base. Unbelievable. I've put about 20 miles on this car, and I hate to say it, but I just fell in love with it. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna afford one of these. I don't think it's gonna be white, but I definitely need to put this car on my shopping list. And time to remount the camera, get some more interior footage while we're cruising down this highway, and we'll bring you back in a sec. Because I was instructed to do something in Sport Plus mode. So notice one of the changes here is that the needles go yellow. So that's paying tribute to the Japanese spec Integra Type R, prior gen, like 3rd gen. And so we are in for a treat here. You can see the head-up display prominently there in the windshield. And let's just have some fun in Sport Plus. This thing just grips the corner effortlessly. I don't even, it's almost scary how confident you feel, because there's no, it doesn't feel like the car reaches its limit. It just kind of, I don't know if it's the wide tires or the wider overall stance. Thanks, this guy for getting over. But it's as confidence inspiring as my TLX all-wheel drive was, which is crazy. Little sidebar pause here on the road. You can really get a feel for that vivid red interior against the green backdrop here. Super stunning combination here with the white. We're gonna try comfort mode just for kicks to see if either of us can notice a difference in the overall look and feel. Yeah, the car got quite a bit quieter there in the dynamic mode change to comfort, and I don't know if it's in my head, but potentially a little softer suspension. Yeah, this feels more in line with maybe just the A-spec trim behavior. Integra Type S and not do that. We ended up behind Jon Rivers here in a Gotham gray NSX Type S. Here's our lunch venue. Very cool winery up here near a little town called Solvang. All right, friends and YouTube family, we're here in Solvang, California. It's a beautiful overcast day in California, but hey, I love it because it's not 105 degrees like it is back home. So before I lose this chance, I have to introduce you all to Jon Rivers. This is the man, the genius, the wizard behind this Acura Integra Type S. So this car, Jon, congrats,
man. Hey, thanks, Tyson.
I just put 65 miles on this thing, and it was like a dream come true. So how did you guys take inspiration from the original iterations of the Integra to drill it into this car and make it feel like part of the family?
Well, you know, going back to the launch of even the TLX Type S and MDX Type S, you know, we kind of set a direction for what we wanted Type S to represent. And while it's totally track capable, it was more about having this just ultimate street performance, kind of ability to just be this great canyon carver, and I think this thing hits it in spades, right?
Totally. So, well, speaking of canyons, so that was part of our drive today, and this thing, I was telling Chris, who was in the passenger seat with me, it's just confidence inspiring. I don't know if it's a combination of what you guys did with like tire width and suspension tuning and overall chassis dynamics, but probably all of the above, right? I mean, you guys put this thing through its paces and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't leave any stone unturned. I mean, honestly, The design is one thing, right?
Yeah.
It looks significantly different than the standard Integra
Right.
A-Spec. But yeah, when it comes to performance, it really is a class above,
Yeah.
right?
And I know, so from the notes, what I was studying earlier, really essentially the car from the A-pillar forward this is all Type S specific bodywork, right?
Yep, all the body panels are new. And I think admittedly, like when we like showed some of the early pictures, people were like, oh, what's going on with the
Yeah.
fenders? But then when
Yeah.
you see them up close and you see it's like integrated, right? This is
Right.
a totally new stamp.
Right.
It's a new
Right.
piece. And so,
Totally.
yeah, it really integrates well.
And not to mention the fact that what I love about it is everything you see here is functional. So yeah, this is an aesthetic, cool, sporty treatment, but this is actually, literally I can feel heat coming out of the engine bay right here. So this is all operating to cool the 320 horsepower turbocharged inline four, obviously. So tell me about I know you mentioned some other stuff that you don't see here that's also performing some of the cooling functions. So what else is going on under the scenes?
No, everything up front, like you said, is absolutely functional. You know, starting with the diamond pentagon grille, it's a Type S, you know, version, so all of the surface is open. You know, we said it's actually 170% more airflow and cooling versus the standard Integra. So
awesome.
all of that, you know, feeds in through the grill and then, yeah, comes up through the vent. So you're not only getting additional cooling performance, but you're also getting, you know, downforce benefits with that as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, to your point, down low here is really cool. I mean, you can stick your fingers in here because that's the brake ducts. And so that goes through the fender here. And then there's a circular port. If you can get a picture of it later, but there's a circular port where that air channels through. And there's even a guide that then captures that air and puts it right on the Brembo caliper.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. And how many piston calipers up front for the Brembos?
These are monoblock 4-piston Brembos.
Pistons. Nice. Yeah, super capable setup. And you know, I know the formula as I understood it when the TLX Type S was launched, and this is per Jon Rivers himself, was go, stop, turn. Like a performance car has to do all three of those, because there are plenty of muscle cars out there that can go fast in a straight line, but as soon as you throw it through a canyon, I think this thing would leave a lot of cars in their dust.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, those are the three kind of key metrics. And it's very simple, right? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of complicated engineering behind it, but really like focusing on those areas because, yeah, to your point, like going fast, acceleration is great, but for me, braking is actually what I really enjoy because when you have that confidence and know you're going to stop, that's what lets you know you can blast through the next turn.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I described on the canyon run today was the car feels like it doesn't reach its limit. You know, if anything, it becomes like a driver confidence limitation because the car will do anything you point it to do. It's whether your driver skill is on par with what you're asking it to do, right? So I have some learning to do for sure. I think we all, I mean, I'm not a performance driver, but this car definitely would be a good one to, if anybody ever wanted to just dabble in the track community. I know that the tuners are going to eat this up just because, you know, right out of the box, it's already a super capable, fun to drive car. And what we discovered on the drive today was even though it's got the sporty aspirations, you can put this thing in comfort mode and drive it just as easily as your Uber XL to the airport if you need to. So it's a good, well-rounded balance, I think.
Yeah, and we really kind of focused on the different drive modes, like exactly to your point. Like comfort's not overly floaty, it gives you a very compliant ride, but it's quiet, you know, the engine's kind of toned down a little bit, but then you just push it up into Sport Plus and it becomes a totally different vehicle.
Up to 11, they say.
Yeah.
So, John, I have to say this might be my favorite angle of the car is the rear three-quarter because you see not only the sort of muscular rear haunches, but you see the triple exhaust, the awesome diffuser. Now this car, interestingly enough, and all the cars on the press event today are equipped with the carbon fiber spoiler, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I also wanted to pick your brain a little bit about not like the car build itself, but sort of the numbers behind how it's been received. So for those who are watching, you remember my video a year ago. It was May of 2022. We went to Austin, Texas. We drove the A-Spec 6MT version as well as the CVT. And the car I'm happy to report, has been a runaway success for Acura. So almost 20,000 units the first year, outselling basically the main competitors in the premium entry-level segment. So kudos to that. But what I really was kind of fascinated by was 70% of the people buying this Integra are coming from other brands. So what do you attribute that to? Like, can you drill down and actually see, you know, where these people are coming from, or what's the story behind that number?
You know, I think there's a couple key things. I mean, first of all, you know, for the A-Spec Integra, the price point is really, really good. It's really one of the only few cars that you can still get an engaging, you know, manual transmission.
Right.
And honestly, I think the liftgate design, it fits a lot of buyers' needs, right? Like if you need to throw your bike in the back, if you need to go to Home Depot or go get your big screen TV, it actually fits. You got all your camera stuff back there, right? So,
tons of room.
So the utility, the sportiness, the features and the pricing proposition is really hard to beat.
Definitely. And what's really cool is, I know this car is very much a standalone now in terms of this manual transmission. What was the percentage of take rate? Was it 16 or 17% or 19?
I mean, that's kind of where it's hovering now. But like initial demand was through the roof. I mean, I think there was one point where almost 60% of the initial sales were the manuals. So thank you to all the enthusiasts. Hashtag save the manuals, right?
Save the manuals.
So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and just as far as the manual goes, I mean, I was telling my drive partner today, the gears are perfectly spaced in terms of the throws. I loved how the gearbox almost felt a little bit damped. Like it wasn't rickety. It felt like there was a little bit of, not padding, but you know, it was just kind of like soft and just easy, and it almost feels like a little bit flawless to run through the gears. So
it's just so much fun, right? And you know, again, admittedly, I know there's been people that, you know, why didn't you make this an auto or whatever else, but no, I think you drive it and the choice is clear, and it really just gives this car this just dynamic, engaging character that, again, I think in this segment is going to be hard to match too.
And last but most important question, I think this car is your exact color spec that you like the most, right?
Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get.
So Jon likes, and to those of you who are watching, there are 7 different color combo exterior colors, right? And one is the Type S specific Tiger Eye Pearl, which you saw from my prior TLX. And then interior wise, I believe we have 3 combos, right?
Yep.
So Orchid, Ebony, and the red. So this particular car, which is a really good combo, is the white with the red interior and these upgraded copper wheels. So super awesome overall aesthetic for this. So is there anything else you would add to it personally? I know there's a bike rack, there's what else? The illuminated front logo on the nose. Like,
yeah, there's, you know, these cars that we were driving for the media event, they didn't have, but you know, things like the Alcantara steering wheel or the titanium shift knob, kind of harkens back to the old Integra. But yeah, there's a plethora, like, you know, genuine Acura accessories that you can add to the car. But I mean, it just comes pretty much fully loaded. So
yeah, awesome. Well, Jon,
hey,
once again, bravo.
Appreciate
you and the
Tyson.
team
Yeah.
hit a home run with this one. I can't wait to add one to my garage. So
yes,
let's make it happen.
All right, thanks again, appreciate it.
All right, thank Getting just a few minutes of alone time with the car while I shoot a few drive-by videos, but this thing is pretty much photogenic from every angle. Just a quick intro to the interior here on the Type S. So a couple things you'll notice right off the bat are this color matched piece here on the lower passenger side of the dash, which coincides with the upholstery. This is a 16-speaker ELS Studio 3D sound system, which is pretty rockin'. We had a chance to play with that earlier on. As far as instrumentation goes on this car, the first thing you'll notice is the 10.2-inch precision cockpit design. This is all digital here, totally customizable with a variety of different screens. And then over here you have your 9-inch touchscreen, which is really easy and intuitive to figure out. Played around with that a little bit earlier today. And then also included in the Type S treatment is standard wireless charging down here, a US port and a power port. And let's not forget about the embroidery, or rather I should say the embossed logo here in the headrest. This harkens back to the early Type S days. My 2007 TL Type S had a similar logo there in the headrest. So this is obviously the Orchid interior, one of 3 available combinations on the car. The other 2 are red and black. While we're up here, we'll look at the Type S specific engine cover. So this red piece here is exclusive to the model. This is a 2-liter VTEC, 320 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque with a limited slip differential and rev matching. So that's a lot of tech talk, but long story short, it will scoot. One thing that I did find kind of interesting that you might also want to know is that from a power to weight perspective, this car has quite an advantage even over the original Integra Type R, to the tune of about 3 pounds per horsepower. So definitely, even when you consider that the car is a little bit bigger than the prior generation, from a power to weight ratio perspective, it has an advantage. Here you can even see the active ventilation system going through that hood-mounted vent, which I showed you guys earlier. As with the other Integra that we drove last year, this one has the cavernous 5th door hatchback with tons of room. The back seats fold down, 60-40 split there. And no spare tire, although you do have an inflator kit down here and some cool little side pockets here, as well as this little built-in subwoofer, part of the ELS 16-speaker sound system. Pretty awesome. Here's a look at the back seat. You can see it is a true 4-seater with just a couple cup holders in the middle there. By the way, this one is car number 87 that I'm driving. Here's a look at the head-up display. You can kind of see how much detail is presented there. Taking a little breather on the way back to the host hotel just to soak in the Pacific Ocean, since we're here anyway. This is called Lookout Park, right off the 101 freeway in between kind of Santa Barbara and Ventura. We're going to conclude our time here shortly with the Integra Type S, and I've really enjoyed the day here. This car goes on sale June 19th. Client deliveries will begin, and I know that there was already a pre-order in place for the first 200 units, and I believe it comes down to 4 blocks of 50 cars at 4 different colors. So we'll see if I can get my name on the list for one of these at some point in the near future. Thanks for watching.